What's up, guys? Subs-Eric here. Got another set 11 VOD review for you guys. Well, I guess all of them are going to be set 11 going forward until we get to set 12. This is another YBY1 VOD review. I felt like I had to review this because look at this lobby. We got the king of NA, kind of, versus the king of Vietnam. We got YBY1 versus Setsuko in this lobby. We also have K and Drew's a very high elo player. I don't know any of these other players, but I mean, if they're in the same lobby as these guys, they must be doing very well because it is literally day 2 of the set and they're already Platinum 1, almost Emerald. I believe YBY1. This is like middle into his stream. I believe he hit Emerald at some point in this stream. So yeah, these guys are monsters. They're playing a lot of TFT and they're playing quite well. So let's watch them, see what we can learn, watch some more YBY1. He is not currently rank 1 North America, but he's like rank 3, rank 4, something like that. You know, in these early days, there's going to be a lot of variance where, you know, one person will just go first and that'll shoot him up to rank 1. You know, like Dish Soap was really high up there, but he's had like a rough go of it over the last few games, so he's like dropping down in LP a little bit. But yeah, ooh, I feel like this is such a YBY1 classic. The pre-level in a spot like this. Like, to me, this pre-level looks so weird to me. But he loves this pre-level here. I feel like very few people would do this. No paired units. Like, he doesn't have a single 2-starred unit. And he sells what? York and he sells the Kiana and the... No, he sells, yeah, the York and the Kiana holds pair, and just a bunch of 1-star units and pre-levels. I wonder why YBY1's so interested in the pre-level in a spot like this, because it's crazy. It is Prismatic Prelude. That's the galaxy that we're in. So I don't know if that plays into his factor, into his decision at all. I'm not really sure. Augment-wise here, I do think pumping up is quite strong in general if you play into any AD comp. There's also this really cool one where every time you reforge your items, they turn into a random or an item, and then you can sort of like start reforging. You can say, okay, like if I reforge you know, an item into an ore item that I don't want, you say I reforge this gargoyle and becomes like a sniper's focus or something, and I don't want snipers, then you can reforge your next item with that Orin item and then reforge that into a different Orin item. It's like kind of weird, and like you have to be able to play around, you know, a lot of different Orin items and be able to flex. It's pretty difficult. So I think YBY1 says, you know what, why not? I'll just pick up the Bard here. I wonder if this is why he goes for the pre-level as well, because now he has a Bard, and Bard is a really cool unit. He is a very, very strong unit to play around. We get to play around this mythic opener, and like maybe that was already YBY1's idea, is that, you know, if you pre-level, if you hit Bard, you can play around Bard. If you hit Aphelios, you can play around Aphelios. Maybe this pre-level he thinks is just really, really strong. I should watch more of his games and see how often he's actually pre-leveling here, because this is a spot where I think 90% of players would not pre-level, but pre-leveling gave him the opportunity to hit Bard here. He's not even, okay, he's gonna hold on to the Teemo. I was like, you gotta hold the Teemo, because that's trick shot, so I'd have to imagine. This Kindred Galaxy that just gives you a temporary item. I believe it's like an item for 3 rounds. Yeah, you can see it on there. Picks up the Steadfast Heart because it's a solid item. And with Steadfast, he actually opts to say, okay, now with Steadfast, I have enough frontline. I'm just going to put in the Teemo here, which is a pretty interesting call. He wants to keep Mythic and just keep stacking up this Bard. So that's why we're like guaranteed keeping the 3 Mythic in. It's kind of wild, actually, to make this play, because the tank stats onto Cho'Gath would be really nice. But I mean, with the Gargoyle, he doesn't really need those behemoth stacks so much. The other nice things is it allows him to make 10. This is something that we always see YBY1 doing, prioritizing making Econ in spots where it makes sense. He's going to prioritize making 10 here. Playing this board with the Teemo allowed him to hold on to the Teemo and make 10, which is really important. Now, the one thing about this spot is I wouldn't immediately say we're playing Bard, and wow, yeah, he's immediately going to take Sword onto this Aphelios here, because we don't really have the items to play Bard. I mean, you can slam an IE onto this Bard here, it's fine. But, you know, like, BIS Bard definitely wants to be, like, at least one Guinsoo. Sometimes, you know, like, multiple Guinsoos. Picking up the Aphelios, though, maybe we can lean into, like, an Aphelios angle. Yeah, I don't quite think it's stronger yet than just playing Twin Shot here, though it looks like he might think it's stronger, actually. Yeah, he's really, he was going in the tank for that, and he's going to slam the IE. A slightly better item onto Aphelios, but it's actually completely fine on Bard as well. But yeah, he thinks that the Aphelios for Sniper here and just for the Armor Shred is stronger than the Teemo for Twin Shot here. I mean, I could certainly see it. Armor Shred is really, really good in a spot like this when you're doing a lot of physical damage. Also, this allows him to now make 20 gold. Once again, just always prioritizing that Econ threshold whenever he can. Been playing around this really strong Cho'Gath front line, and yeah, I mean, his spot looks pretty solid. If he can win this next fight, he's going to be 3-streak with this board. This is some pretty cute positioning to maybe get better sniper's value, where he puts the Malphite over there so that The Cho'Gath's always going to be getting full aggro, but if there's someone really far on the left side, they might end up aggroing onto Malphite after the Cho'Gath, really. Really close fight, but we end up winning it. So it is a nice 3 streak here. We had to hold on to these 1-cost pairs, but we're already level 5, so the chance of us finding 2 stars is a little bit scary. But yeah, you can actually see just the value that people place on this pumping up augment. There's 3 people in the lobby who have it. I want to actually just pull up stats and see what the stats say pumping up is, because I've heard it is very strong. Pumping up 3, 4.02. That augment is so, whoops, sorry, so gross. My OBS is bugged out to like swap every once and literally just whenever it wants to. It's very annoying. We do pick up a Nico here, which is a really nice addition. Just gets Heavenly onto our board, which is really valuable, and we get to still keep Mythic in for the Cho'Gath and the Kog'Maw. Gonna slam this sword here, which is all we got, along with that redemption that we made onto the Cho. Just a solid slam. The only downside is it's killing our armor shred items. Like we'd lose an even Shroud component for that, but you want to keep your streak here. He keeps a nice 4 streak. This is classic YBY1, just play for streak, play for strongest board. Situationally here, we're on a bit of a streak, so maybe you can think about Young, Wild, and Free. I don't really like Recombob, and you can get 2 4-costs off Recombob, 3 4-costs off Recombob. Oh, yeah, 3 4-costs off Recombob. Looks like he wants it, yeah, and he's just going to take it. Wow. We got Lee Sin, Bard, and we have this Galio here, and now he's just going to opt to tank this Galio here. I mean, Galio's a fantastic 4-cost. The Lee Sin, we definitely would have preferred something like an Ashe or a Kaisa here, I would say. Maybe we'll just find a way to get Lee Sin too, because now we have Lee Sin paired, but Lee Sin not the best player on it. Yeah, we get destroyed here. This is the downside to taking a Recombobulator here, is this board might be weaker than our previous board, but we do have the option at least to upgrade Lee Sins at some point now. We get the Atrox in here just as a solid unit. We're gonna get Ghostly in. Oh, it's also Bruiser for Guy. We have Duelist in for the Lee Sin as well. So yeah, I mean, if we can get to Lee Sin, it'll be chill though. The only problem is we don't want to play Lee Sin late game. Lee Sin, especially with this setup, I don't think is gonna do it. He's gonna be an okay item holder for now, not really even great. I probably would have preferred the Aphelios one with these items, but you know, we Recombobbed him. But yeah, you'll see we're going to lose this fight as well. Yeah, this was an interesting Recombob from YBY1, but I feel like it's so typical of him to just rip an augment like that and say, you know, like, if I hit something really good, then my spot's insane. With the sword open here, I assume we just start looking for some kind of attack speed item with the bow. Yeah, and he does finally grab the bow, though it takes a while. I guess it sort of depends on what we're playing for. If we want to play for like an Ashe type board, you really want something like a Gwynsu for a bunch of attack speed. If we're playing for like a Kaisa board, because we do have this Volibear already, then, you know, you'd really prefer just straight up damage. Like we have this IE, we could go something like GS plus, I don't know, even like Hodge or something, but just straight up damage is great. The one really nice thing is we do have like Gargoyle plus Redemption is like BIS Galio because he taunts everyone. He just is an incredibly tanky solo frontliner with these items. So there's the upside, I guess, from our situation. But yeah, we're not even that rich. It's actually kind of a hard spot to navigate here. We get 4 free rerolls here from Udyr. Looks like he's just going to opt to save those. And yeah, he's looking at Inkshadow here. It's the tattoo of, I think this one's Bombardment, it's called, where every like 3rd auto you shoot an extra one, I believe. I haven't played too much around Inkshadow, but I believe that's what the real hard part is. Like, I'm pretty confident on that ability because there's only one other like AD type one like this, but the name, I think this is Bombardment. I could just go pull up my Tactor guide. Why not? Just for fun, go pull up my Tactor guide on Inkshadow unit so that I can see if I have the name correct. Sure, why not? But yeah, I mean, we're just sort of, it is Tattoo of Bombardment, and it is every 3rd attack, fires bolt to the 2 lowest % health enemies, deals 65% of AD. So I was right, I'm a genius, and shout out to my Tactor guide. Okay, brace yourself, I'm gonna pull up my OBS one more time. It jumps to the opposite monitor every time, I'm sorry. We end up getting sword plus double, no, we get a sword and a bow here, so we decide to make a red buff plus D-Blade here. Solid items. But really, I don't think they're like super BIS on anyone. The other awkward thing is we do have this Tattoo of Bombardment, so now we have 3 items, but if we end up actually playing into some kind of Inkshadow board, it's going to be pretty difficult. Yeah, this is a dire spot, actually, for YBY1. The upside, he has this scaling from the Augment, Yeah, I think you actually do have to take this. It's for, I forget what it's called, but it's whenever you make a 4 cost, it is 2-starred immediately. And he just gets a 2-star Kaisa immediately, which is fantastic here. You get in this Udyr here for just an Udyr for 5 Inkshadow, actually. And then move over the second tattoo. This is Tattoo of Force over to the Lee Sin and put the red buff onto Lee Sin. Wow. I mean, quick pivots from YBY1 as always. I feel like this augment really helped us out because we really needed just some kind of jump in power. It's exactly what we needed. And we found the Kaisa pretty quickly. We also found the Lee Sin 2, which we got rewarded for holding all that time. We finally get Lee Sin 2 to play around. And yeah, 5 Inkshadow board is not something you see every day. I assume we'll start getting out of this stuff later, but you know, as usual, I think YBY1, the minute he saw these Lee Sins, the minute he saw this Galio, he was thinking about this board probably, about playing around Inkshadow, using the Volibear to link up with the Lee Sin, using the Atrox to link up with the Galio. As this guy's brain just goes so quickly, I think immediately he was like, okay, I'm just going to play this Inkshadow board, build items. He probably already knew that the red buff was going on to Lee Sin, and I mean, now he has pretty solid items. The only issue is, one, he's down a gold and a silver augment. In that, you know, both of these don't provide any combat strength, though his Prismatic is fantastic from the perspective of combat strength. And the other thing is that his frontline is pretty weak here. Item-wise here, yeah, I do think you would just look for a Galio item here, like half Gargoyle, half Warmogs or something. This is a Volibear 2, and it's a Warmogs, which would be, I think, fantastic here to pick up, so goes for it. He also has a dupe, though. I guess this dupe's just going to end up being for, like, a 2-star Atrox or something. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be. Yep, and we now have our entire board upgraded. It's interesting that he decided to actually roll there, because he's really just rolling for Atrox 2 or Teemo 2. I mean, I guess you're also rolling for Galios. If you find Galio pair, you might start just rolling it to 0, because that is the one big issue we have is frontline here. You can see our frontline just gets blasted by a board that really doesn't even have that much damage. The upside is we have a ton of damage in this Kaisa, firing off with this Tattoo of Bombardment, doing a ton of work, but it's like, it's kind of scary, our prospects for going 9 in this spot. It's also interesting, yeah, he's thinking about what to cut later. Yeah, it would be these two, you would think, eventually, because you want to keep the Bruiser and you want to keep the Duelist in. Oh, yeah, and he immediately actually cuts it. Wow. He's just going to play 4 Bruiser here. He thinks that's actually a stronger board. It's more frontline. We lose the Tattoo of Force onto Lee Sin, which is the scary part, and we lose just the ability to play Udyr as a cool guy, but we get a lot more frontline onto this Galio, which is, you know, exactly what we were talking about, the main thing that we're missing. So YBY1 evaluates this board, says it's 4 Bruiser here. We end up losing this fight, which is a little bit sad, but surely it wasn't a diff. Surely we didn't get weaker, right? There's Galio paired up finally. I wonder how many Galios are actually out of the pool, because it's... if there's a lot out, it's going to be a little bit difficult to actually find Galio 2, which is so important here. I don't know if you can actually... You probably can't go 9 without hitting Galio 2 here, which is really rough, because you do... I mean, he's so rich now, though. Ooh, this is a scary spot, for sure. Lee Sin item here, yeah, just Hodge here. And yeah, looks like we are going to make the call and say our board's good enough to go 9. It's really scary with no Galio 2. 1 Galio out there. There's not that many out. You could certainly roll here for Galio, but... fearless YBY1 is going to say, you know what, we can go 9 in this position. We're fighting this board, which is not quite Bard 3, but they do have Tahm Kench 3, which is so much frontline. Kaisa almost can get through it, but just barely can't. Down to 17 HP. At least someone's dead here, but we need to level now or roll. Like, we're going to level with barely any gold, right? Yeah, level. Just one reroll. This is like the Soju special. Roll once. Put in a Morgana here to get Ghostly in, which is a solid just extra synergy. But yeah, really scary stuff. He's gonna even, yeah, that was very smart. Spell the Teemo to get 1 extra reroll, because if you can get a Galio 2, you absolutely take it. But this is a really scary spot for YBY1. But you know, he made the calculation that he can make it to 9 on this board. He's gonna win this fight, which is really big. We'd love to be able to get like this way in and start stacking stuff up, but I don't think we have 4 rounds. And you just gotta roll it to 0 every single round. He's clicking to roll here, giving himself the higher odds of actually hitting stuff. And ooh, this is a nice little pivot here. We get the Irelia in. It's a 3rd Duelist. And wow, we're gonna move the items off of the Lee Sin. Maybe this Lee Sin's gonna come out later. And we're gonna play around this Irelia. She holds red buff really well. And this allows us to get back in the Kale, which is gonna provide Shred to our entire team. And now look how well the team does. We destroy this guy who's level 8. I mean, it looked like such a sketchy level 9, but it looks like we might even, before we hit anything, top 4 on this board. It's really scary, though. It's very close. I don't actually know what you want to itemize here. Because check back on our board again. Don't we have... Okay, we have one open slot on the Aurelia, right? So yeah, GS looks fantastic here. Just any kind of third Aurelia item is exactly what you want here. And then, yeah, I mean, I assume you just have to roll down to 0 every round. Hope to find some kind of frontline upgrade. Ideally, we... Ooh, what did we just sell there? That was an Inkshadow unit. Oh, he opted to actually sell the Volibear there. Interesting. So he's going to keep the Lee Sin in. He says, I can't actually sell Lee Sin because it's just too much. In terms of like frontline, like if I get rid of this Lee Sin, my board's gonna get 2 weeks. So I actually sell the Volibear there and get in the Senna here, which is just kind of a random, a very random unit where there's no sniper on the board, but she's just a decent AD unit. And yeah, top 4 here before even hitting Galio too. It's kind of crazy. This is the one where you have to stand in the puddles to get the fishies. This one is so weird and buggy, and also looks like one person isn't even trying to hit them. So yeah, the Setsuko guy is just standing still next to me because I guess he doesn't want any more loot. But YY1 really actually wants this loot. Ideally, it's more gold for him to roll down, and it is actually gold for him to roll down. He can use it, and boom, there's Galio. I mean, that's why someone like when you're Setsuko in a spot like that, and maybe you don't need gold, you absolutely do not. You're not actually supposed to stand in the puddles. I mean, it's fun, but like. You shouldn't, because like YY1 just got, like, if no one had gone in the puddles except for YY1, he might have not had enough gold there to actually hit the Galio too, and maybe, you know, he ends up dying here or something. The other interesting thing to call out is that he moved the Tattoo of Bombardment off of Kaisa and onto the Irelia. He thinks it's better on Irelia, and I don't get exactly what Irelia calls an auto attack, so it's kind of difficult to know. But yeah, he I think it's like she has a pretty fast auto attack rate. You know, I put a Renans on her once, and she was shooting bolts pretty frequently. So, and can you see it's kind of hard to see on 2x speed, the bolts coming out from the tattoo, but I believe she procs the tattoo a good bit. Best item here would be like a TG, or just any kind of item for Silas or Lee Sin, but I mean, I think Silas is definitely the one that you want to itemize here, just because I think he's a better unit. And at this point, we're just rolling down, trying to pick up an Irelia too, ideally. Not really much else to do in this spot here. Gets the Zaya in, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's this. Titans is like probably a slightly better item. The problem is, as a single item, Titans is not going to do anything here, whereas the Steadfast will at least make him a little bit tankier. So I like the Steadfast here. The Irelia is doing decent work. The Galio is really, really tanky. And yeah, just this Kaisa Irelia duo carry with the Galio frontline, a really, really creative board out of YBY1 that we sort of bridged over to with the Lee Sin that we got off the Recombob. I mean, this is a classic YBY1 game. I feel like these type of games are so fun to watch, where it's just free-form TFT, just doing whatever. This is... this is either more gold for kills or more gold for not kills, which is pretty wild. We also finally pick up the Udyr. Again, get this back in over the Senna, because he's just a better Inkshadow unit. This is basically our final form as far as boards go. We've swapped a lot of like meh units for like the good 5+ versions of them, like getting in this Irelia, like getting in this Udyr. We really just need to pick up Irelia 2 or Udyr 2 to really pop off. We are fighting a Zyra 3 board out of Kanju, which ends up getting kind of wrecked here. We're really hoping that Setsuko loses this so we get guaranteed top 2, but we don't actually have that happen. One more roll, we can't find it. We're gonna lock here for the Zaya and Rakan. If we can live this fight, we get to go to Carousel here and potentially get either one. He's actually, ooh, he's trying to dodge the Zephyr here. Wow, look at this smart stuff to dodge Zephyr. Just crazy positioning of units. He gets his Kale Zephyr, which isn't ideal actually, because we're going to lose the Shred, but really, really nice positioning. I don't know if it's enough though. My God, Huitu is just a monster. It looked like he just burst our entire team down. We are going to die, and Setsuko's going to live, so it is a top 3. There was an Irelia with IE on Carousel. It's so sad. If we could just live one more, this Irelia maybe could have farmed us like a top 2. But I mean, beautiful game for YBY1, a really cool game that I think a lot of people would not have played. I guess I can just play this out a little bit while I yap. But yeah, a really, really cool line, and just freeform TFT, getting in better units when they're better, item carrying the strongest units, you know, making Econ, just good TFT at its heart. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe, check out my Twitch, and all my other links down below. Thanks for watching.